So thank you for joining us. So I'll just start with a quote from Srila Prabhupada's purport. It's from the Chanting Hare Krishna book. So here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about how to chant Harinam. So the title of this paragraph is called "We Capture Each Beat and Chant." Krishna consciousness movement means we are teaching our disciples how to think of Krishna 24 hours. This is Krishna consciousness. And the simple method is to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the process. We have got this beat bag, and within this bag there are beats. We capture each beat and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One beat equals 16 times, so the whole beat claim there are 108 beats. So one round means about 1700. In this way, our disciples are advised to chant at least 16 rounds. This is our daily duty. It takes about 2 hours. So this is actually not from the purport. It's from a purport. It's a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam 172-4, Durban, October 14, 1975. I want to read another purport, another writing by Srila Prabhupada, which is coming in Krishna book, chapter 35. Krishna would also count on 108 beats, the title says. Krishna had many thousands of cows, and they were divided into groups according to their colors. They were also differently named according to color. I think those of you have heard the lecture by Srila Shyamrup Das Prabhu. He was mentioning different types of cows Krishna has had, Samali, Dhavali, Pingala. When he would prepare to return from the pasturing ground, he would gather all of the cows. As Vaishnavas count 108 beats, which represent the 108 individual gopis, so Krishna would also count on 108 beats to count the different groups of cows. The gopis' feelings of separation, chapter 35, Krishna. So, this is exactly the things which are mentioned in the Shastra also, that Smartabhya satatam Vishnur vismartabhya na jatochit sarvo vidhi nishide esar etayor eva kinkara, which is coming in Vishnu Purana, and also it is quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in a different way, that yena tena prakarena mano Krishna niveshayat sarvo vidhi nishide esar etayor eva kinkara. That means like our rule is only one thing we have to do, and only one thing we don't have to do. So remember always Krishna and never forget him. So these are the two rules. It's very simple. Sounding is very simple, but it's not easy process. So that's why we have to take shelter of Guru Krishna and their instructions, so that we can get inspiration from it, and then we can follow it from our heart. Otherwise, it will be mechanical. Even though chanting, sometimes you start with a mechanical, style, but ultimate goal is to connect with our emotion, our feelings, so that Krishna gets attracted. You can hear, chanting in a jukebox or something all day long, but that want to attract Krishna. So we don't want to be a jukebox. Rather, we want to be a conscious living entity whose full consciousness, Purna Chaitanya, which we'll discuss in our class today also, is dedicated for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So thank you. With that, we want to start our chanting. So before chanting, maybe we can do some small breathing exercise, which I saw that Vaisheshaka Maharaj also inspires us to do, where we can concentrate on our breathing. We can just breathe in and keep the breath in our stomach for some time, and then breathe out. And while doing this, our full concentration we can put into the breathing process. That's how we can actually control our mind and exclude it from other thoughts. So let's start. we can breathe in. And then slowly we can breathe out. Again. Again, slowly we can breathe out. Again, we can breathe in. And slowly we can breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. So we'll start with Panchatattva Mahamantra, and then we'll go to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Hare. 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 Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama, Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Sit
Hare, Hare
properly.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare Krishna. I will read from another section of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. What kind of mantra actually can attract you to Krishna? Hare Krishna. The paragraph is titled as "When the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful." When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. Although the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is powerful in itself, a disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master. For when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. Another paragraph. The spiritual master awakens the sleeping living entity. It is the spiritual master who delivers the disciple from the clutches of Maya by initiating him into the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, a sleeping human being can revive his consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other words, the spiritual master awakens the sleeping living entity to his original consciousness so that he can worship Lord Vishnu. This is the purpose of Diksha or initiation. Initiation means receiving the pure knowledge of a spiritual consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Madhya Lila 961 purport. The previous one was Srimad Bhagavatam 424:32 purport. So we see actually many people nowadays sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It becomes a trend, which is good because without chanting nonsensical things, and Prabhupada is also mentioning here that in itself is powerful. So even though they are Sanketya Parihasya Stavam Helonema Baba Ikuntha Nama Grahanam Ashesha Agaharam Vidu in the 6th canto, Yamaraj Mahabhagavata Yamaraj is speaking to his servants that even somebody is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in insinuation, hint, Parihasya, just jokingly, Stovam for drama or kind of acting, Stavam Sanketya Parihasya Stavam Helonema Baba, nonchalantly, just casually chanting Hare Krishna. That also kills, or that also destroys tons of sins. However, the awakening of Krishna consciousness is not only just taking away of sins. That can actually elevate you to a higher consciousness, but Krishna Prem comes through Guru and Krishna himself. That's why when pure devotees chant, their only motive is to satisfy Krishna by others engaging in the service to Krishna, or he himself doing the service in a very pure manner. And that's why we see that Srila Prabhupada, when he chanted in Tompkins car park, I remember that pastime that people, they were in complete utter ignorance. Still they got attracted. They started dancing, chanting, jumping. They felt there is something which is not coming from this material world. But even if you hear, very popular, singer who are extremely good singers materially, they are also singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But how many of devotees they have converted by chanting so nicely, or in a classical manner with nice music and arrangement? It's not possible, because this is not something material words. You need to have that connection to Krishna, that is spiritual world. Then only you can give that to others. So that's why we are so grateful that our parampara is taking us back to that platform, especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who distributed this love of God to everyone. And Srila Prabhupada himself, while arriving to US, was explaining that Bhakti nai vedo nai name oti dridho bhakti vedanto nam ebe sharthak karo. I don't have any devotion. I don't have any knowledge. But I have firm faith in Harinam. Bhakti Vedanta Nam. So now it's your duty to make successful the name I have entitled or I have given as Bhakti Vedanta. So this is complete surrender, and we can see from our acharyas that kind of surrender. So at this point I want to hear maybe one or two reflections, like what kind of chanting inspires you and what kind of chanting you are more inclined to hear, if you can share a little bit. Krishna. Many scholar devotees are here. Yes, please go to Garna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, in the beginning you spoke about 108 gopis Krishna has and 108 groups of cows.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this doubt that why there are 108 beads.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that clarifies that they represent 108 gopis,
Mm-hmm.
108 groups of cows.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we call the head bead as Krishna bead.
Correct. Krishna.
I didn't know why we call Krishna because Krishna is in the center of the gopis and the cows. So that makes sense. Thank you, Prabhu. Personally, I like chanting with devotees, in this japa circle, because as every devotee has a particular unique connection to the chanting. They have a different taste, so we get the best from everyone in the group So that inspires Prabhu. And also reading something from Prabhupada in the Chanting Hare Krishna book, that makes it really sweet.
Excellent, Prabhu. Thank you. I can see that you are getting the taste of chanting. Thank you, inspiring all of us. Thank you for that service. Anybody else wants to share? We have His Grace Sundaran Prabhuji, who is another exalted Hare Krishna chanter. Thank you for coming, Prabhu, and blessing us.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. I don't know if I'm an exalted chanter, but I have the same struggles. Just one reflection I had was, I really liked your point about how, chanting is not, of course, you quoted the verse from 6th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, about Yamaraj, talking about different kinds of chanting, or I should say inattentive chanting, even that has an effect. But the real goal is love of Krishna, not just getting rid of the sins. I mean, personally, I've felt being in a prayerful mood, it helps me to chant. It helps me to chant or try to chant with more attention. I mean, the struggle is there, but at least my intention is to be more attentive when there is a more prayerful mode. So that's one thing I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, I think Vaisheshika Maharaj also emphasis on 3 P's, right? Pronunciation, posture, and prayer. So these 3 P needs to be connected. Most of the times I keep forgetting the prayer part. So thank you for reminding that we should have a purpose why we are doing it. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else wants to share anything? I think we are almost done, but if anybody wants to share, please go ahead. Yeah, please, Ram Prasad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question. So how do we understand that we are getting that ruchi in chanting? I mean, so how do you understand that stage and what it will take? How to get there?
Yeah,
Good
actually
answer.
Sundaran Prabhu can answer, but I can answer something based on Srila Prabhupada's this book. Srila Prabhupada was asked that, like one of the devotees was asking whether we can chant the Panchatantra Mahamantra also in the beat when 16 rounds is done. Prabhupada said, no. Panchatantra Mahamantra is to be chanted in the beginning to get the mercy from the Panchatattva. But once you are done, and there is, you can keep continuing. There is no, done in chanting. Means like if you have time, chant 1600 rounds instead of 16 rounds. So there is no end. So when you have that mood, you are feeling that, bliss. You don't want to stop. So Vaisheshika Maharaj also emphasizes on unconsciously competent, right? When you are in that stage that you don't have competency to chant Krishna's name, but you want to chant all the time. That means you are progressing and you have that, taste for it. But I will request, Sundaran Prabhu or Kautakarna Prabhu to, share their realization because they have more understanding about this topic. So.
I mean, I had the same point. Many times, it's like a chore. And it's very unfortunate. Of course, that's what the second verse of Sister Ashram says, that Durdaivam, very unfortunate. But at least, I think, once in a while, I think all of us would have experienced when we chant and we want to continue, even after 16 rounds. So, I think that's when we can understand that we are getting a taste.
Thank you.
Just and how to, I think, I mean, because you had brought up the point how to. I think one thing that comes to my mind is trying to be attentive. Of course, that's where the struggle is, and I think that's where being conscious and struggling and trying to be attentive.
Yeah, that's what Srila Prabhupada also said, right? See it properly. Immediately everybody comes into attention there. Maybe because it's the function of mind, right? Like it gets tired. Oh, you wanted to say something. Yeah. Krishna Kesha Prabhu.
I think Mahaprabhu also in Shikshashtakam says, Nam Namakari Bhahuta Nija Sarva Shakti.
Yeah, Prabhu was also mentioning the
Tatrapiti
same. Yeah.
Niyamata Smaranina Kara
Mhm.
Ekadashi Tav Kripa Bhagavan Mamape Durdevam Sishyam. So my foreign condition is there's so much empowerment, but I am not able to. And then the Tranadapi Sunichina, Tarudapi Sahishuna, Manina Mandena Kirtaniya Sadari.
Correct.
Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitatva isha kame. Mama janmane janmaneshwara bhaktir bhavati aishtakir tvai. And ahittukui tvai. And then he says that nainam kalatashrudeha. So then the feeling will start coming.
Mhm.
Then the higher level of realizations with that relationship that is there will start coming. So, but Trinadapi Sunichena Tarupi.
Correct. Yeah, that's very effective for sadhaka bhakta to follow that, especially the tolerance parts. Tate anukampam suzumikshamana. Anyways, thank you everyone for joining today's session. I'm really grateful for inspiring us, me especially personally, with your association. Let's do a Vanchakalpa and then we can conclude this Chapa session and we can wait for the darshan of their lordships. Hare Krishna.